we also got a report this week that Ahsoka season 2 from Lucasfilm and Disney Plus, that is possibly going to be the ending of Ahsoka. They haven't like canceled season 3 yet, but the I guess the thought behind the writers and the showrunners is that season 3 isn't guaranteed, so they're going to do a season 2 where by the end of it, it's going to be like fully wrapped up. There won't be any cliffhangers per se. And if a season 3 does come, then that's great. But if it doesn't, then we have an ending to Ahsoka. I'm a little surprised, but I can't say too surprised. I mean, one, like Ahsoka, season 1 didn't perform amazingly on Disney Plus. I think it kind of just barely got the season 2 that they announced a while back. But the other part is that they set up a lot with season 2. Like they set up the elder, I don't remember, the elder gods or something. Yeah. They set up the elder gods and Baylan Skoll. They set up Ahsoka and Sabine trying to go to that direction. They set up Admiral Thrawn coming back into the universe. I don't know how you wrap up the Admiral Thrawn plot alone in one season. I think that would be a little disappointing. I
think you can. Yeah. It would just be disappointing.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not new for Disney Plus shows. So, by the way, this is just a report from Daniel Reichman, which we've talked about stuff from before, who sometimes is right, sometimes is wrong. So this is not confirmed, but it could be true because he's gotten some things right before.
Well, I think what also leads me to think this is true is that like it feels like
you can't just leave this one open-ended. I'm sorry. Like
sure,
there is way too much that went down. And I think that it didn't perform as badly as something like The Acolyte, where it's like, okay, there's no way we can justify this, guys. This one, there's already built-in fan base for Ahsoka. There's already built-in fan base for all of the Rebel people who love Rebels.
Well, and plus, I think it's tying into like the
Mando movie,
the Mando movies, and in that universe, like it's a big part of it because Thrawn's a huge character, and so is Ahsoka in her own right. Yeah. So, but on the other hand, like I know the Mandalorian universe is ending after like 1 or 2 more movies, and I from what I hear, Ahsoka season 2 will come out in like 2026. That's probably when one of the Mandalorian movies come out. I don't think the timing is bad. I think it makes sense if like that TV universe is wrapping up.
Yeah, I think if you got really good showrunners and did as much with your time on screen as possible, and you got away from 30-minute episodes.
Oh my gosh.
I think there is a world where you could discover what is going on with this planet outside of the galaxy that we have typically been in with these elder gods and Ahsoka and Sabine and Baylan Skoll, and also tie in Thrawn and
Ezra
and all the Rebel crew and our not the rebels anymore, but our, what do you even call them?
New Republic
officers. Yeah. But I don't know how I feel about, like, I also don't know how you do it, because just for the fact that, like, we talked about how, like, the Mandalorian movies are supposed to close out the universe. And I feel like they're building towards like this confrontation of Thrawn.
Yeah, maybe
and all of the crew. So is it, and so how do you close out and make the Ahsoka season 2 finale feel like a fully closed story, but then it feels like it would most likely it would have to be finished it would still have to be finished by a Mando movie if that's if that's still what they plan on doing.
You're right. That contradicts really badly. Like how can you wrap up a season 2 of Ahsoka without any cliffhangers, but then push Thrawn into a movie?
Yeah, because it does feel like we've been. Because they even talk about Thrawn in The Mandalorian,
Right. Yeah,
so
the beginning of season 3.
It feels like we've been pushing towards him this entire time. So if we're, I don't know.
It's gonna be a tough challenge if they don't.
I'd love to know what if they want to do a full story with everything that they've set up. To me, it just feels the way that they decided to make Ahsoka I'm only speaking as somebody who's assuming that it's going this way, but to make Ahsoka the first instance that we see Thrawn, and to have her stranded on a planet, and the way that you would not maybe they do the movie in a way where you don't have to see Ahsoka, but it almost seems like you have to see Ahsoka if they're going to bring Thrawn and all of that stuff into a Mandalorian movie, which is what I'm assuming they're going to do. I could be wrong.
I think the Mandalorian movie will be more of like the the Disney universe, but like show universe, but like all together, like maybe Boba Fett shows up, maybe the Skeleton Crew shows up. I think it's possible.
Apparently Boba's not showing up.
Wow. Just like he's done.
Like Tamora Morrison was like, I haven't heard anything, and I don't think I plan on doing anything.
Yeah, we did talk about that a while ago, but that's a bummer if true. But like, also, I get it because like that character sucked by the end of Boba Fett. So, but yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a wrap up, and I think it could also be like a really great wrap up for Ahsoka if they I think they did 8 episodes that first season, but like, if they did 8 episodes, like you said, like 1 hour per episode, like the Penguin just did, like you get a full on season right there, and you can go in depth, and so many of these episodes, like we could have one episode of just exploring the Elder Gods and like their journey to it, and yeah, I feel like we need some breathing room rather than like the half an hour episodes we've been getting from Disney Star Wars.
Yeah, I just feel like there's no way that you make it a full story and not leave any open ends with what they've set up.
Right.
And I also feel like if they make a season 2, I need them to make a story where Ahsoka is actually going through something, and there's a reason for the story, because although there was a lot of stuff that I liked from Ahsoka, I could not tell you for the life of me what the point of that show was, other than to get Thrawn introduced into the universe, bring Ezra back into the universe, and let us see the rebel crew in live action. Because I, honest to God, don't know what that whole story was about.
I mean, one of my favorite. Like,
I know you're going to say the Anakin scenes, but that's from that scene for that episode for people. What people like about it, from what I understand, is all of the buildup from things prior, and they're like, "We'll see it, all these things about why it's so important, and it did this for Ahsoka, and it did this for Anakin," and I'm like, "Cool, did it for an episode." But we never followed it again. No,
I think that's my argument was going to be like, they tried to do some like character development there where she learned something from Anakin. It just wasn't the strongest journey at all for a character.
But then her character, I just feel like, I just don't know what it just didn't. I just don't feel like her character really changed or did really. I don't really feel like her character really went through much that entire show.
I would agree. She didn't go through a whole lot. She didn't change a whole lot. But she did, she did train an apprentice.
And it's like, if you wanted to call this show like Rebels, or something other than Ahsoka, where she's not supposed to be the main focus, I could give it a pass. Like, oh, this happened with Sabine, or this happened.
Because I think I think both you and I were more excited to follow Baylan Skoll than Ahsoka.
Yeah, like any of these characters, I could be like, well, at least I can follow. Like like this character's got something going on. But like when your literal show is called Ahsoka and the main character is not really going through anything other than just like, well, I guess I'll train you and you've got all the interesting parts going on and all the character development. And I'm just kind of a stoic, not Jedi. You know, it's like.
Yeah. And that was really like one of the worst parts of that show was how stoic she was. Yeah. I mean, she was just pretty boring to watch like at points. So hopefully those problems are addressed. Hopefully they give us longer run times. Hopefully Thrawn isn't done after this season, after this next season.
Yeah, but, I mean, granted, if they did wrap him up and Thrawn isn't the big bad,
then I don't understand what they built to. Yeah, like what?
Maybe Moff Gideon just comes back again.
No, not a fourth time, Zach. We can't do it again. We can't.
He's just like he needs to come back like brutally maimed.
Genuinely, that could get me to not watch like Disney Star Wars for a while if they brought back Moff Gideon for a fourth time. Like that would be so bad. Mando. It's one of his stupid clones or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like God bless. Yeah. So
I'm not gonna lie, Moff Gideon was like such a top tier like villain. And now, like, the way that they handled him in season 3 has just, like, brought him pretty low. I'm like, he's just a Saturday morning cartoon villain at this point.
I think it would have been such a... like, the entire show would have been so much stronger if they never had a season 3. Genuinely. Yeah. If they ended at season 2, that's a great ending. That's a great ending to Moff Gideon's story and Baby Yoda and The Mandalorian. I think it all works really well. But then they're like, nope, money. We got to make money. And the rest is history.